call. Laura Reese is the Director of Border Security and Immigration at the Heritage Foundation. Thaddeus Cleveland is the Sheriff of Terrell County, Texas. So welcome to you both, and thanks for coming on. Laura, we'll start with you. Does this seem so out of the ordinary to ask for ID when you are asking someone to cast their ballot? Why would the White House take such issue with this?
Well, because the left has made quite a system of making it easy to cheat in terms of voting, whether it is mass mail-in ballots, whether it is drop boxes, et cetera. And so they are using these aliens who they have mass migrated into the U.S., registering them to vote to generate ballots, which then can be mailed in and placed in drop boxes to cheat in an election.
Thaddeus, I want to pivot. I want to get your thoughts on this as well. Do you think that something needs to be put in place here to help protect the elections?
100%, John. What are we thinking to allow someone that's not a citizen of the United States to vote in our elections? And look, when you look at the millions of people over the last 3.5 years that had come into our country, who do you think they're going to vote for? Of course they're going to vote for the people that let them come into the country illegally. It's absolutely absurd. And I tell you what, we're still the greatest country in the world, but quickly we're losing our values and our morals, and a lot of it's due to this specific administration.
We were doing a report just the other day on that new Illinois law. It allows illegal migrants to apply for driver's licenses. And yes, it's supposed to be marked differently, but just all of these perks, Laura, that seem to be given out almost as freebies to people who are coming across illegally. You're talking about hotel stays, shelter stays, food, resources, in some cases, debit cards. Yeah. There are so many incentives to continue on this illegal process. Why do anything differently? Why do you think people are coming across?
Right. It's for a whole host of benefits, and the driver's license and other benefits are included. So initially, states would argue, well, we should give driver's licenses for driver safety, and we'll mark that this person is an alien. But now we have states even changing that, like Massachusetts and California. They are getting rid of any distinction on those driver's licenses so that an alien looks just like a green card holder or a U.S. citizen. So it was never about driver safety. It was about facilitating illegal immigration and allowing people to reside here longer and get more downstream benefits like bank accounts, attend school, et cetera, et cetera. And then these aliens use these equities as a defense to future deportation.
That's a great point. It's a slippery slope. You start with one thing and then it leads to the next, Thaddeus. And the next thing you know, it's hard to come back from it, to Laura's point. Once you've allowed one thing to happen or to be approved, and driver's license is one, then it's voting. It's a very slippery slope. Would you agree, Thaddeus?
It certainly is. And to Laura's point, when I lived in Virginia stationed at U.S. Border Patrol headquarters in Washington, D.C., man, I can remember going to get my license on 2 different occasions, and I had to bring all sorts of identification and bills to prove who I was. And again, having been a career Border Patrol agent and knowing what I'm looking for, people that were there illegally would walk right in and be serviced quicker than I would. But to your point, look, we're not so far blown out of the water with the whole border security issue. We get the right man, the White House, President Trump. We can get our border back in order in a fairly short time and start getting back to protecting our citizens.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the current man in the White House, President Joe Biden, that executive order that he placed in regards to the border. There's some media reaction now to its effectiveness. Let's play that sound.
The order, I am told, has significantly reduced, John, the number of migrants who are being released into the U.S. interior with court notices.
Just over 84,000 migrants crossed the border in June. That's seen by some as a political win for President Biden.
To put that in context, the last time they were below 95,000 was January 2021, the month that the administration switched from Trump to Biden.
Laura, your reaction to that sound?
So we have to recall the shell game that the Biden administration is using. It is redirecting people to stop crossing between the ports and instead make an appointment with the CBP Mobile One application and enter the U.S. through the ports of entry. And the Biden administration doesn't want you looking at those numbers. But also, we can expect the numbers to rapidly rise before January because the smugglers, the cartels, the migrants themselves know that Joe Biden is not likely to win re-election. And so there is going to be a rush to the border to try and get into the U.S. while he is still in office. So we have to keep watching those numbers.
Thaddeus, and if that does happen, what are you expecting? I mean, we have this cap right now as part of the executive order, but if there's a rush, what does that look like for the border and all these various states?
No, and Laura's exactly right. Once the people south of us know that there's a good possibility of President Trump coming back into the White House, they're going to want to get here as soon as they can because they know once he takes over that the border is going to be shut down. We will still have people try to attempt to cross the border, but it will be in a lot better shape than what it's been. But I'd also like to comment on Laura's point about the CBP One app. She's exactly right. Look, they're still allowing what they tell us is 1,200 a day. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but they've lied to us about so much other stuff. Who knows if they're letting even more in on that app.
All right. We'll leave it there. Sheriff Cleveland, Laura Reese, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot of other